Hi, my name is Brittany Bruton. This is my final Learning Center submission. I'm going to start with my HyperDocs activity. What a HyperDoc is a one-to-one resource to use within your classroom just to get students used to working with technology and getting comfortable using it. I have used multiple resources within Google or Padlet. Some of these are very self-explanatory. They look at a map and they type down here what the river was that they traveled on for Lewis and Clark. If they were to take a different route, what would they do? They mark it on the map themselves with a pin tool. I also found some really cool resources, and they do it to they find 2 different plant species and write 3 different facts about each one, and they put it to a Padlet. All of those links are working and can be accessible to everybody who has the Google Doc link. You put extra resources on there. I found a PBS video, National Geographic had a few, and then one PBS resource that I wanted to make sure I included was they had an interactive expedition, which I thought was super cool, and it's very fun. And I think that is super, super helpful with how we do our classrooms anymore. So I want to go ahead and move on to my dramatic play center. I have a doll. Obviously, they could use construction paper and make their own costume or hat or anything like that. I just had this doll for my niece, and she has little cowboy boots and all that stuff. I made a canoe because Lewis and Clark did travel on the river and they didn't have a big boat. So I made a canoe, and there's a paddle in here. I have a backpack in here with food that they would take or harvest throughout, tea, because they all drank tea in the day, animals that they could find throughout the whole expedition, and so much other things. I put it in I'm doing task baskets, so this is the basket that I chose for this task. These are super accessible for students, and they are to take them to their desk and work with their groups individually, that kind of thing. I'm going to move on to my lap book. This is my example lap book. Here's the task basket for it. My example lap book has information about each Lewis and Clark. There's a compass at the bottom, lots of different facts. This is just an example of all of it. Information, maps, and then my favorite part is the plants and animals section. So each of these tabs pull out, and they have different names and information about each animal and plant. I spent a lot of time researching all of this, so there it goes. So, and I said that I was going to put QR codes where I got all the resources, which is true, and I did do that. Let me get them out of the basket. Each QR code, I have the whatever it was, the website and stuff like that. So this one's the interactive expedition that I used with my extra resources for my HyperDoc. Where I got a lot of my information was off of history.com. And it was super helpful, and they had each link that pulled like a hyperlinked in to pull to another website and all of that. One where I got all the plants and animals and stuff was the Lewis and Clark journals that have been published, and they have all kinds of different resources, and then the students would just Google, or I would provide the kid version of Google and have it condensed down to these kinds of things for them. So in the task basket, obviously there's glue, markers, scissors, staplers, pins, construction paper, extra folders, that kind of stuff to make the students have their own personal lap book to take home and use as a resource. My next one is my final activity, which is my Monopoly game. I'm gonna have to scoot back to show you. I am very proud of this. I did get the idea off of a Pinterest board that I saw. So I made this. This is Oregon Trail. This is Oregon Trail Monopoly, is what I've been calling it. So each little one, they start over here in Independence, Missouri, and they roll the dice, which are in the basket. They roll the dice, and they move their pieces. I have 4 pieces. This is ultimately for 5 to 6 players. I only have 4 pieces that I could find right now. Obviously, I could make new ones and all of that. But each student will get an Oregon Trail log. And I found this template off of Google, just Googling ideas for it. You put the pioneer's name, event that happened. Each time they roll and they get to pick a card, they can pick a red or a blue. Red, red or blue. The blue ones are health cards. So this one says you're healthy, add 25 points. So they would add 25 points to their log. And it's just a super interesting way to like help them learn about westward expansion and be able to get through all of that. There's also some diseases on here like malaria that's passed through mosquitoes that we would obviously learn in the whole unit overall of different diseases and that kind of thing, looking through the science aspect of it. And then we have a few more like question cards. So a hard saltless biscuit is called what? It's called a hardtack. And if they get it correct, these are things that we would talk about throughout the unit. If they get it correct, they add 25 points to their log. And if they get it incorrect, they have to take 30 points off. I love playing games like this that are super factual. And I think that students comprehend more when they're doing something that they really enjoy in playing games. I think that this is a super interesting way to have task baskets. I never would have thought to put a Monopoly game within one, but it's all been very fun making, and I will put the Google Docs links and pictures into the final submission document. Thank you.